Hi guys, it's Amrit. Welcome back to the channel. Today is the 12th of November and I just thought I'd make a super quick video. I've been running errands, a little bit errand running, and I just actually got a call from a close friend, a long-time close friend, and I just met up with her and I brought her the last of my Suboxone. I had just a fucking tad of it. And I found it for her, and I brought it, and I met up with her, and gave it to her, because she's had like 2 weeks where she's relapsed on heroin. And here's the thing, because we had a little talk, and it was, it's really awesome to see her. But man, oh man, like, there's two big points here. One is, we need to free the weed, okay? We need to free the weed for everybody, free the weed for everyone, and especially people that have chronic pain and people that are long-term opiate addicts. Whether they're in pain or not, when you use opiates for 5 years, 4 years, 10 years, 12 years, your brain changes and you perceive pain. Unfortunately, you perceive pain at a higher level. And so you might not people say, oh, well, you're young, you shouldn't be in pain. Well, after a certain amount of opiate use, it really only takes a couple of years. You're perceiving your bodily pains at a much higher level. And also, if you're using opiates, it's much more difficult to be physically fit, to do the exercise, the yoga, to, stay limber, right? So when you come off of opiates, you're in pain and you feel like an old person. You feel like you're 80 years old. And marijuana is a huge, huge, huge tool. It's a boon, right? It's a boon. But guess who doesn't want you to smoke any marijuana? Even if you have a card. Probation doesn't want you to. CPS doesn't want you to. All these government organizations, oh, no weed. I had a CPS worker tell me that they would rather me be on tramadol every day, which is, a prescription drug that's very similar to opiates. It's not officially an opiate, but it binds the opiate receptors. And it's a mess. If you take too many, you have seizures. And it's not, it's really just not, it's more dangerous for sure than weed. But she wanted me to get on tramadol instead of weed for my pain management. And it's like, what is the deal? If you have the right amount of weed in your system, right? And I'm not saying, let's gorge ourselves on a bunch of edibles and get super whacked out stoned and then drive and try to, work and stuff like that, right? But if you're on the right amount of marijuana, which is, probably a small amount, right? During the day, at least, right? Small amount, and you're on, if you find the strains that are right for you, high in what is that? It's not THC, it's the other one that's not mind altering, but helps with CBD oil, right? CBD, if you find high in CBD, or if you find your good sativa strains, where you can go about your business during the day and be a fine driver, okay? You even drive better because you're, stopping at red lights, Super Joint out of Phoenix said that, when I'm stoned, I drive better. I stop at red lights. But if you're on the right amount of marijuana, you can do most anything, and you can still be an awesome mom. You can still be an awesome, caretaker in so many different ways. And it's retarded to tell opiate addicts that they can't smoke pot for legal reasons. It's a shameful thing. People don't understand how fucking hard it is to get off of opiates. And especially fucking heroin, because it's so strong. It's so strong, and it affects the body in so many different ways. It binds to the opiate receptors in the gut, so that after you stop, you've got a hard time digesting. It changes the brain in a lot of ways. So it takes months. It takes months to clear out the system and really recover if you've been using for a long time. I'm still cleansing out all this stuff. I still have these, this is much better than it used to be. It used to be out to here. But it's still, in some of these bumps, right? So I'm 5 weeks good. And, I'm still detoxing. I'm still throwing off my sweat still smells like it a little bit. And it takes time, right? And if you're feeling uncomfortable, people do not make it through that time. They don't. And it's so important to have, the comfort, Epsom salts baths, right? Marijuana, having a good attitude about masturbation is key. That's key, because if you have shame about orgasming and then you try to get off opiates, forget about it. Forget about it, because all those, your gonads start working again, and they start pumping out massive chemicals. It's like a second adolescence. And if you're not prepared for it, if you have a bunch of sexual shame and you think, well, the only time I can come is with a partner, and it's got to be, I've got to have a Christian wedding first. Well, you're not going to fucking get off opiates, period. Because, for women, it's like, you might masturbate like, 10 times a day for a few months, right? All that juice is coming back into the body. All those chemicals, all those hormones, and, you got to be prepared to love yourself through it. Marijuana is so helpful, and it boggles my mind. It boggles my mind that people are denied that. Why are they denied that? So that's really key. We need to free the weed for everyone, but especially people that are in earlier opiate recovery. It's crucial, and yeah, there might be a small fraction of people that get too stoned and can't do anything. Well, God bless them. God bless them. If they're in their mom's basement, whatever, I could give a fuck, because they're not shooting up. They're not going to kill themselves. People don't die from getting too stoned. As long as they stay home, but people, if you're too stoned, you don't fucking want to drive anyway. Every time I've ever gotten too stoned, there is no way anyone could ever get me behind the wheel of a car. It's hard to even get me in the back seat of a car. I'm trying to crawl into a blanket and eat a bunch of food and it's not a thing. It's not a thing, guys. So we need to really, 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 really work on freeing our minds and freeing the weed. Second point here, okay? So my homegirl, she's in a relationship, and she said if I tell him, he'll call my probation officer. Say what? It's one thing when you have, a violent fight with someone and they call the police. Even that annoys me. I don't like cop callers. I don't have a lot of attraction to people that call the police. I just don't. Maybe I raised up myself a little bit too ghetto, hung out with the wrong people. I don't like people that call in a higher authority. I'm not a Hebrew national hot dog, and for me, there is no higher authority. There's no kosher, there's no cops, there's no higher authority than my mind and your mind, and we're going to work this shit out, right? But some people like higher authority. Anyway, so she said if I tell him, he's going to call my PO again. And if I tell him I relapsed for 2 weeks. Say what? Oh, God. There's very little sex in this world I would accept being in someone's life that was threatening to call higher authorities on, but this, anyway, regardless of me, though, this is so common, okay? This is so common. I remember, my beloved parents, right? One of them called me a junkie bitch when I had relapsed after having a baby. I mean, I tried to detox literally a week after having a baby, and I was so demineralized. I was in a wheelchair. I couldn't move, and I kept talking about killing myself. I felt so horrible, and it was a disaster. And then I did, basically 30 cents worth of heroin. And, everything fell apart, because even that small amount of heroin, it doesn't matter. You can test positive, and then, the CPS case, and then boom, and then I'm kicked out, and then I'm crying, and then I'm doing more dope because I can't see my baby, and it was a whole big clusterfuck. But miraculously now, it's all flowing. Now that my baby's almost 2 years old, right? Now that this case is closed, now that I can smoke some weed, now that my parents are not under that amount of stress, now that I'm not under the scrutiny of these people, everything's flowing. So, were we really better off because we had a case? That's the question. Do we really want, the government interference, thing is and this is one of the reasons why, the small government thing and the libertarian thing, because most of us have a concept of what we want and what's right, and we're trying to get there. And the shame and blame and guilt and fear game doesn't work. It doesn't work in period. It doesn't work in the country. And it does not work on opiate addicts. You can say, you're a fucking piece of shit. You're a horrible person. You're a horrible mom. You're a horrible dad. You're a horrible partner. Because you relapse. And because you're using. And you make us all sad. And you make us all sick. And we hate to see you like this. And we, I think it's okay to say we hate to see you like this, but all the shame, blame, and you're a junkie bitch, and you're this and you're that, and this is why you can't get clean, and this is why this. People will come at you with anything under the sun to try to push you down and make you feel worse. Shame, blame, guilt, and fear, because they think that will help. It does not help, guys. It doesn't help. Shame, guilt, blame, and fear does not help. You know what the key to unlocking addiction is? Love. Pure love. Love and honesty, openness. Openness, Like I say, well, fuck, dude, I went to the wrong neighborhood last night, and I ended up banging up with my old dealer, and I didn't mean to, but damn, I better not do it again today, because I'm not trying to catch a habit. If we could just say that, I fucked up last night, or whatever, and I don't want to do it again. And everybody in our life would be like, oh, well, hopefully take care of yourself. But, like, if we could be honest, right? And this is addiction and honesty, addiction and connection. Those are the poles, right? It's not addiction and 12 steps, or addiction and, shame and sort of like bowing to some sort of higher authority. Well, I'm going to do good this time. I'm going to do right this time. It's not about doing right. There's no right and wrong. There's no right and wrong. The only way to get clean and stay clean is to have a life that's so fucking fun, that's so fucking pleasurable, that's so fucking you, right? So you, it's so full of you and your life force and your vitality and your radiance and your love that you don't want to shoot dope. You don't want to go around with sores and fucking bumps, and you don't want to nod out in your fucking car and wake up 10 hours later with a fucking sunburn. You don't want to do that, because life is too fun, it's too good. You want to visit with people, you want to make connections, you want to eat good food, you want to love nature and love your surroundings so much, and get out there and make that money, or whatever, whatever you're into, whatever you want to do, you want to be of service. Your life is so good, and your connections are so good and so strong, that you don't want to relapse. But first we've got to get someone off of opiates, and this is where ibogaine comes in, this is where weed comes in, this is where love comes in, and acceptance, and the beauty of having friends. And it's just the shame, guilt, blame, and fear game is not helpful to anyone. It's not helpful. Even child molesters, it's not helpful to them. I don't know what is, but that's not. What do we do? How do we help people to get, and I'm not saying child molesters, drug addicts. Actually, a lot of people that are drug addicts because they are trying to alter their sexuality. This is a huge thing, right? We've got, meth addicts are typically trying to amp it up. That's why we see a plague of meth amongst gay men. They're trying to keep up with the Joneses as far as being thin and being fit, having a lot of sex and not sleeping, keeping up. And as far as women and, and a lot of men as well, whether, whatever reason they have some sort of sexual shame, and they're trying to shut down their sexual system, and opiates will do that. With me personally, like, I always try to shut down my sexual system, because I was not comfortable with the level of sexuality that I had, the level of desire, the level of, I don't even know what to say. The level of, my sexual appetite, my sexual energy, always felt like it was way too big and way too, my energy in general, way too big, way too powerful, and let me tamp it down. Let me bring it down. And so the biggest thing, getting clean is like, oh, wow, okay, this is me. Because we are different people when we're using. We're like at half mass. We're at a quarter mass. We're at a 10th mass. We're not flying high. And, we've got to find out who we actually are, in recovery, in sobriety. And yes, we can be in recovery smoking weed. I'm in recovery, and I've been smoking weed all day. Just very small amounts. But still, I have. And fucking awesome. Great. Beautiful. Yes. You know, it's whatever gets us so we're feeling good and able to connect and love life, have a shine in our eyes again, eat food and fucking be alive, right? And not stick fucking needles in ourselves and not make sores and abscesses and fucking overdoses and risking our lives for what? For what? Because heroin is not that pleasurable. It's not actually that pleasurable. It's pleasurable only if you feel so bad that it's gonna, you know, it's a relief from feeling bad. It's not actually euphoria. It's not ecstasy. By any means, it's not ecstasy. It is simply a relief from feeling bad. And so if you meet an opiate addict, if you meet a heroin addict, a pill addict, anyone who's addicted to opiates, right? On opiates, period, right? They're on those because they felt bad. And they're trying to find tools to feel better. And this is why drug addiction is actually, it's in alignment. Drug addiction it's a higher alignment. It's a higher alignment than feeling horrible. Because we're seeking tools. And they might be the wrong tools. They might be the illegal tools. They might be tools that might kill you. But we're seeking solutions. We're seeking tools. And that's why drug addiction is actually, it is in alignment. Until it's not. Until it's not. And almost every opiate addict or any drug addict you meet, of course, they have a huge portion of themselves that wants to get off of it. Period. They want to get off. They want to get off of it. They want to have a sober life. They want to enjoy, their friends and family. They don't want to be shamed and blamed, and they don't want to be ostracized. They don't want to lie. Here's the thing, America, okay? As a drug addict for 20-odd years, we don't want to lie, okay? So stop making us lie. Stop making us lie. Let us tell you the truth. Handle the truth. Everybody goes on their life journey and they pick up things and they put down things and they make decisions and they try things. And these are just tools. And heroin's a tool. Speed is a tool. Cocaine is a tool. They might not be great, but they're tools. Alcohol, tool. A tool to what, though? What are we using the drugs for? The only way to get clean is to figure out what are we using the drugs for? And then figure out a way to give that to ourselves without the drug. And a way to detox so that we're comfortable and we're not freaking out and jumping out of our skin. Those are the two things. How do I detox? And then how do I come to terms with the life I want without this drug? How do I do for myself what the drug was doing for me? For me, heroin was giving me a boundary, a border, right? Something that I didn't have emotional boundaries. And so that gave me an emotional boundary. I could disappear, I could leave, I was not feeling the guilt that I should be taking care of people, right? I was codependent and I used heroin to cut back on my codependence. 2, I felt like I was over-sexual, so I wanted to fuck too much, I masturbated too much. So if I just kept myself on opiates, well, I would have a normal sexuality or somewhat, subnormal, right? Well, fuck it. If I have a high sexuality, well, that's me. Awesome. I'm me and I have a high sexuality. I have a high sex drive. Okay? That's a beautiful thing because it's me and I love everything about me. Beautiful. But we got to get to that point, right? If we're judging ourselves or letting other people judge us, past judgment, no. So the biggest things is like boundaries, getting to know ourselves, right? And having support, of course. And having support, this is why people go to 12 steps, so they can have support from people who've been through it, not their fucking family and friends, not a bunch of people that are going to give them shame, guilt, blame, and fear, people that are going to give them hope and optimism and strength, right? And we can do it with, with whoever is going to be on our team, on our side, right? We don't have to go to a certain meeting, we don't have to go to a certain church, we don't have to have a certain set of beliefs. It's not about that. It's just about becoming who we are, and whatever we were using that drug for as a tool, giving that to ourselves. So for me, I'm going to give myself boundaries, right? Boundaries. I'm not going to necessarily take everything really personally. I'm not going to necessarily alter my course just because someone else doesn't like my course, even if that person is close to me. right? I'm going to go with my intuition and my desires, right? Now I am, right? Didn't for, many decades, but now I am. Now I am because I want to stay clean for me. And of course I want to stay clean for my son. Of course I want to stay clean for my mom. Of course I want to stay clean for my fathers and my friends and all that stuff. But that's not the reason. The reason is because I want to have fun. I want to play on the playground that is Earth, and I don't want to be a slave. I don't want to be a fucking slave anymore. Period. I don't want to be a slave to any thought form, and I don't want to be a slave to any drug, and I don't want to be a slave to any drug dealers. I want to be my own, and I want to love my life. So anyway, that's the first thing for getting off of drugs though is fucking boundaries, man. And whether you're on drugs or off of drugs, or whether you have someone in your life that's on drugs or off of drugs, be gentle with yourself and with other people. Let people tell you the damn truth. Tell people the truth. Have people in your life that you can tell the truth to. And if you can't tell them the truth without them freaking out, taking it personally, calling a higher authority, getting you in trouble, throwing you in jail, trying to put a bunch of negative emotion on you for telling the truth, those are not people you want in your life right now. Maybe later, maybe when you feel real good, you can take those people back in your life. But as far as having those people in your life in early recovery, forget about it. Forget about it. It's a no. It's a no. And that's, that's why we need our people. We need our people, and we need the people that operate from love and from peace and from acceptance. That's who we need in early recovery. And maybe we come back around to our family and friends and all the people that are, shame, guilt, blame, and fear-based operating, A lot of people, everybody, they're doing their best. They don't know what to say. They don't know what to do. They want to change things, but they don't know how. They're taking it personally. They're in their own wounding, right? That's not who we want to fucking hang out with in the first few months that we get clean, or the first few weeks. We don't. You go back into that situation when you can handle it. My beautiful baby, he is 19 months now? 19 months? And the majority of that time, he has not been with me. Some of that time I've been able to visit with him, see him. A lot of that time I was using, and then a lot of that time I was away trying to get better. And then I come back and relapse, and the thing, like this time I stayed away for a couple of months, and I felt weird about it, but at the same time, I had to find some fucking tools for myself, and I did, and now I'm here, now I'm back, and this is one of my tools, having a video diary. Maybe no one watches this, doesn't matter, because I let it out. It's a beautiful tool, and I learned it from Durian Rider, and I learned it from, what's his name, Vegan Cheetah, and I learned it from Trish Paytas. I don't know if she still does open. I think she talks about pill addiction and stuff like that. But there's a lot of people getting clean, and also getting clean off of eating disorders, all sorts of stuff, by having that dialogue. Even if no one watches it, it feels good to let it out, and even just taking a deep breath. Letting it out with the sound, letting some of that tension and stress and blame and guilt and all the bullshit, all the judgment, letting it out of our bodies, just being cool. It's okay. It is okay. And even if nobody else thinks it's okay, it is okay. It really is. It's okay. It's okay if you relapse. It's okay if you're using. It's okay if you're clean. It's great if you're clean. It's okay if you're on marijuana. It's okay if it's okay if you're curled up in a ball because you fucking smoked speed and had sex with 50 dudes. It's okay. No matter what. You're alive, and it's okay. And you're a beautiful being. Now, what do you want from going forward? What do you want for your future? Because it's all okay under the sun. And maybe nobody else will tell you that. It's all okay. So I will. and it's all okay. And now what do we want? And let's find out how to make that happen for ourselves. Alright, this is a long video. Thanks for watching, and come back again. We'll come back again soon. I'm just sick of the way that people approach addiction. Is so stupid. Dude, like, tell the people in your life, watch some TED Talks, motherfuckers. Watch some TED Talks, because it's about, addiction is fleeing connection. It's fleeing reality. It's fleeing honesty. And like, there's nothing that we want more than to come back into ourselves, to come back into honesty, to come back into relationship, to come back into health. There's nothing that we want more than that. And not everyone has the tools. So we're like searching for the tools to be in alignment. And sometimes what the tools we find are, one thing, we keep drugs, very secret. They're esoteric. They're hidden. And the human brain is always, always, always using the law of the forbidden to seek out tools. We see if it's esoteric, if it's hidden from us, those things are more attractive. And so by keeping drugs illegal, we make them more attractive. And people like me who are always seeking the esoteric, right, the hidden keys, the hidden things, people like me will always go for them. If heroin had been legal, I probably would never have tried it. Maybe I would have, because I had some chronic pain. But just the whole setup is flawed. It's flawed. Look at fucking Portugal, guys. Portugal has legalized heroin and legalized all drugs. And in one generation, ain't nobody doing them. Nobody's doing those hard drugs. And the old junkies, some of them are still on it. But they all want to get off because they're so bored. It's not secret anymore. It's not hidden anymore. It's not some sort of forbidden fruit anymore. It's fucking legal, and their lives suck, and they hate it. They have jobs, and they go to the shooting galleries or whatever, and they fucking hate it. Now that it's legal, it's not a big deal, so they fucking hate it, and everyone wants to get off it, and the young people don't even fuck with it. The young people don't even fuck with the hard drugs. And so it's like, well, why do we have all this prohibition then? So it's a big discussion, but I just want to say that I love you, and take care of yourself. Figure out what it is that you want, and let's make an action plan. Please, if you have any questions, concerns, if you want any sort of advice or any sort of resources, I am connected in the ibogaine community. Not here in America, but overseas. Not overseas, in Mexico. And I'm connected with just a lot of really beautiful people in recovery. And any question that you have, I'll do my absolute best to answer it. So, take care. And remember to love yourself, even if everybody else in your life is coming at you with blame and shame and guilt and fear. The biggest thing is that you love you and you like you. And that you make shit happen for yourself. And everyone else can seriously go suck dicks. They can go suck dicks. Because your life is about you, and your recovery is about you. And everyone else's opinion, the biggest person that you need to forgive is you. You can forgive other people later, if it suits you. But the biggest person that you need to forgive is yourself. And from that place, that's where we can have a conversation. That's where we can start improving ourselves. That's where we can make an action plan. Is the well, I fell into this habit. But that doesn't mean anything about me. I fell into this habit. All it means about me is that I'm an explorer. I'm an adventurer. I go for the hidden things. I go for the esoteric things. I go for the law of the forbidden. I'm an animal. I'm a creature. I'm a product of evolution, and I have a working brain, and I'm seeking tools, right? Long term, is it better to be suicidally depressed, or is it better to be on illegal drugs, or is it better to be on psych meds, or is it better to be long term? It's going to be better to be happy and in love with your fucking life and in love with yourself and forgiving yourself, right? We see Robin Williams, he was sober off of alcohol, and he fucking killed himself. And he was on psych meds, you know? Is that better? I would rather see Robin here drinking and being a fucking sex addict. He probably wouldn't even need to drink, you know, like just being himself and not listening to people say he needs to be medicated or say he needs to, like, you know, tone down whatever. No, fucking bring the noise. It's 2016. We're heading into 2017. Bring the noise. Bring the funk. Bring the pain. Bring you. Bring your sex. Bring your energy. Bring it all to the table. We welcome you. We want you here. We want you here. Don't run and hide and shame and guilt and fear. Come play. Come play with us. And if you got personality defects and you're fucked up, well, welcome to the club, because that's fucking everybody. That's everybody. All right, guys. Love you. Bye.